another off-topic episode, and I apologize in advance if I am losing your interest here on this show, but it's my show and I'm going to talk about what interests me. I'm sorry, I got to be selfish in those regards or I'll never end up keep putting out 2 episodes a week. I want to talk about sports and how sports and business and life, in my opinion, are so correlated, and how I learned some of those most valuable lessons in this world from sports at a young age and through high school and college. I was always big into sports. My dad wasted thousands of hours a year in front of a TV watching sports with me. And I spent thousands of hours learning how to play basketball and running track and field. And I had a successful high school basketball and track and field career, and went to college and ran track as well. And sports, in my opinion, sports can teach some of the most valuable lessons that there is in this world. Number one, let's talk about school and the other way that folks learn lessons. And school is predictable. It's right in front of you. It's straightforward. It's turn the page back to learn this and turn the page forward to learn that. Do as I'm told, sit down in your chair, comply, listen to us. If you do what you're told, you'll do really well at school. And the real world is not like that. Business isn't like that. If you have a career worth having and you're not just doing what you're told all day at work, it's not like that. You're solving problems, you're adjusting, you're reacting. You are trying to make the best decision possible with incomplete information and not a lot of time. And that's exactly what sports does. That's exactly what sports taught me how to do as a young kid. Sports taught me how to react in uncertain situations and make instantaneous decisions that impacted the entire outcome of what our goal was as a team or me as an athlete. So in my opinion, sports were one of the keys to my success, because sports not only taught me how to adapt and adjust and be resourceful and make the best of what I had, and even though I wasn't the fastest or the quickest or the highest jumper, to try to be the best player that I could be. And I learned a lot doing that. I learned a lot of lessons and things that impact my day-to-day life to an nth degree, because business, what I'm doing right now, is just like sports. I'm making decisions on incomplete information. I'm making instant, spontaneous decisions, just hoping for the best outcome. I'm learning and I'm adjusting my decisions as I go. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Yes, there's the basketball coach who teaches you the fundamentals. And yes, there's the business books who teach you the fundamentals about business. But very, very quickly, you realize that nothing is straightforward. No 2 decisions are alike. And no matter how many books you read about Steve Jobs, you're not going to be able to start a successful business by reading those books about Steve Jobs. You have to make your own decisions based on your own situation that has thousands of factors, thousands of variables, of which hundreds are much different than any other decision that has ever been made by anybody else. So there's no right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong way to shoot a basketball. There's no right or wrong way of when to pass and when to dribble and when to do this and how to do that, right? You have to adjust and adapt as you go. Every shot is different. Every dribble is different. Every pass is different. So sports really teaches you that. And another huge part of sports that I think is so critical is that it taught me how to fail. I have a vivid memory. I think in the very early episodes I told you guys about the air ball. But basically I had a game-winning shot, wide open game-winning shot as a sophomore on the varsity basketball team in front of 8,000 people in the huge crosstown rivalry. And it was to win the game. There was about 15 seconds left. We got the ball. My buddy passed me the ball in the corner, and I shot and airballed. I missed horribly, and we lost the game. And it was traumatizing. It sounds silly to think about, but as a 16-year-old who all I cared about was basketball, and I think about the 100 closest people to me who mattered the most in my life. It's my mom, my dad, my siblings, and then the 10 guys on my basketball team and my 10 other friends in high school. And those were the people that mattered the most to me. And those were the people that I cared what thought about me. And they were all there. They all watched it. Everybody lived that moment with me. And it was a heartbreaker. 8,000 people packed gym. Like, they don't even, it was in a huge gym that can't even, you know, standing room only, because we had a superstar on our team as well that everybody came to see. And that teaches you a lot about life. When you have to deal with that kind of failure as a 16-year-old, you realize that, okay, how bad could this possibly get? If that's the worst that could happen, I'm still going to be safe. I'm still going to get up the next day. I'm still going to have food. I'm still going to have opportunity. I'm still going to have people that love me. And I can take risks. It's okay to take risks. It's okay to take the shot. You can take the shot and miss the shot. That's fine. It's still worth it. It's still worth it. It's worth that pain. It's worth that risk to take the shot. And that's why I ended up taking the shot to start a business instead of going to do what everybody else did. And I think that's why people love sports. I think that's why sports has such a draw in America, because it's the one way that people get to live a little bit of uncertainty and uncomfortable and not knowing what's going to happen. And I'm a firm believer that the more moments you put yourself in where you don't know what's going to happen, where you don't know the outcome, the more fun you have. It's exciting. It's exciting to know that in a Super Bowl, either team could win. Anybody could be the hero. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and that's what makes sports so beautiful. The same goes for business, and the same goes for life if you live a rewarding life. Who wants to live a life where everything is laid out for you for the next 35 years? You know, maybe you're working a job that you're working towards a pension where you're doing the same thing every day for 35 years. What's the fun in that? I don't care how much money you make. What's the fun in that? Where's the reward in that? How do you go home at night feeling like you pushed the needle forward? But starting a business is very, very similar to sports. Starting a business, you don't know what's going to happen. You're making decisions. The outcome could go either way. You're living it all in real time, and it's so exciting. It's so fun. It can be heartbreaking. You can airball shots. I've airballed shots in business too, and I've had heartbreakers, and we've lost games, and we've lost money. But we've also had unbelievable times, euphoric times where things are going well, and we just can't believe it, and the phone is buzzing with new customers coming in. It's really hard to explain, but sports gives you that. So I think sports is a really valuable thing, and I'm going to have my boys play sports if they want to, and I'm really glad that my parents encouraged me to play sports, because I learned a ton by going through the failure, learning to cope mentally with that failure and bounce back and have a positive attitude, and that's incredibly valuable for me.